Okay, we're starting off today with some practice for the test that's coming up. The test that's coming up is a combo of both the logs test and the exponentials test. This one that I just wrote out is the wrong answer. And it was a really common mistake. People made a mistake like this. What's wrong with this answer? Because a lot of people think it's right. What do you think? Okay, and why should it be somewhere else? Why should that negative not be there? If it's over the y-axis, let me draw that. That goes like this. This is the y-axis, and then it's going over that. It's like that. So then that's the, which way? Is that horizontal or vertical? That's a horizontal. Where is horizontal supposed to be? Yes. Remember the high-vo thing? Horizontal on inside. So if I want to put that negative on the inside, negative out here, that's definitely on the outside. Can I just throw it on the inside of these parentheses? Nope, that doesn't work either. It's got to be inside with the x. So in there, then I can throw in the negative. Okay? All right. So now the only other thing is this should really have a parenthesis around it, but I'm not going to get that picky. But just more about that, where should that y have been? All right, here's another one that I'd like you to try. Log base 5 of x plus 1 is equal to log base 3 of 8. And I hope you don't just go, well, cancel the logs and then, no, why can't you do that? They're on the same base, so you have to deal with it some other way. And by the end, I hope you're using a rewrite. Otherwise, you're really missing the boat. All right, then I'm going to call that problem 2. And then problem 3, I want you to try this one. Problem 3. Oh, wait, I will have you do a little add subtract kind of thing to see if you know what the right order is to do this kind of stuff in. So we'll say minus 10 is equal to 27 to the 2/3 power. That'll see if you remember what fraction exponents are. You do not need a calculator to do either one of these questions. Okay, I just realized a mistake. Sorry. Yes. Should have been log base 2 of 8 up there. Sorry about that. Now you won't need a calculator to do it. You're right. The other way, you would have needed a calculator. So I just changed the base on that top question. Okay? Try these two. While you're working on those, I'm going to start handing back some tests. Okay? So we're going to kind of do this mix of me handing back tests, then doing some review problems, and then I'll hand back more tests, etc. Let's see how you did on these two. You'll find out. All right. Here we go, number 2. Need your full attention. Phones go away now. That was okay because I know I gave you a bunch of time there, and now I need you back, though. That should be changed to a number. Because if you could cancel these, awesome, but you can't because they don't have the same base. And we don't really cancel them anyways, but it kind of acts like canceling. But anyway, that wouldn't work because they weren't the same base. So this, you should have noticed, was 2 to the 3rd, which was like, oh yeah, the bases are the same. The answer to this is 3. And then you got to be smart enough to change this whole thing to a 3. Do you get what just happened there? Yeah. All right. You got to stop talking to the person next to you. You're distracting them, and you're distracting me. All right. This then can be rewritten as 5 to the 3 equals x plus 1. Now it's 5 to the 3rd equals x plus 1. Now, I know 5 to the 3 is stretching a little bit, but you should know that one. What is it? 125. And then we just have to subtract 1 from both sides. Final answer, 124. Now, what if your life depended on it? Would it be smart to check to see if you did it right? Yes, it would. And this happened on the test so many times. If you hadn't taken this test yet, you're getting a spoiler here, but you have to check to make sure they work because a lot of times your answers don't work. Okay, well, let's find out. This 124, when I put it back in, that makes this 125. And then log base 5 of 125 oh yeah, that's 5 to the third, so it's 3, and it works. This was already, earlier it wasn't 3, but it was log base 2 of 8, which is 3, so yeah, it works when I put it back in. All right, same thing on this one. Did you check it? When you got an answer, did you actually check it to make sure it works? Because this is the kind where a lot of times you get an answer, but it doesn't actually work. Let's find out if this one was one of those times. First off, do you know how to do fraction exponents? You start with the root, and you do the root, the third root of 27, which was what? 3 squared is what? 9, so the whole right side is just 9. And then I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And I get square root of x plus 4 is equal to 9 plus 10 is 19. And then I'm going to square both sides. Wait a minute, does that cause the absolute value thing? If it was square rooting both sides, it would. But this is squaring both sides. So the answer is no, that does not cause the absolute value thing. 19 squared, it's a big number. 19 times 19. 360 what? Thank you. And then I just have to subtract 4 from both sides. X equals 357. Raise your hand if you had 357. All right, awesome. Now, does that actually work? How do you know? Well, we go put it in. And if I take 357, put it here, that means 357 plus 4. Ooh, that's 357 plus 4 is 361. Is the square root of 361 really equal to 19? Well, if 19 times 19 is 361, then it must have worked. Okay, cool. So why did I check that one so closely? Because when you have square roots, a lot of times things fail. What would have failed? If I'd put something in there and it just hadn't worked. Or sometimes it's really obvious. Like if you put in a -5 and you go, wait a minute, I'm doing the square root of -1, and that's not even possible. I have to use imaginary numbers, and we don't use imaginary numbers unless you're in that special unit called, remember what they were called technically? Part of the, yeah, they were imaginaries, were a part of the what system? The complex number system. Very good. Okay, so, all right, anyway, now let's do a couple more practice problems for the big test on Friday. I can't cover everything today. We have tomorrow also, and then there's the test on Friday. Okay, so. Yeah, isn't that weird? Tomorrow's a Thursday. Yes. Anyway, so let's do another type that's completely different. Let's do a graphing one. Okay. You're bopping to your music too much. Draw attention to yourself. Now you got to take it out of your ear and keep it that way. Thank you. All right, next one. Y equals negative log base 2 of x minus 4. And what's your best friend in graphing? XY chart. And don't just slap on that random number in here like I'm going to put in a 3. Well, then all of a sudden you're doing log base 2 of a -1, which doesn't even exist. You got to think about what number could I put in that would work really nice. Somebody give us one nice starter number for x. A 6 would work. You don't have to use 6. There are other options, but that's a good starter number. Now, remember, on the graph kind, you have to have 3 points and the asymptote. Okay, give this one a shot. I'll pause and hand out some more tests. Okay, so let's get some points here and see if you did this right. I know that was a long time between problems. Got to get all those tests back to people. So, guys, chat more later. Sit. Thank you. All right. So, you put in a 6. This turns into a 2. And then you got log base 2 of 2, which is 1. So why isn't it 1? Because there was a negative in front. So that makes this -1. All right. Next, let's put in the number 5. Why? Because then you get a 1 in the argument. And if you won the argument, what do you get? 0. So 5 comma 0. So over 5, up 0 is a dot right there. Over 6 and down 1 is a dot right there. Okay, and then let's just put in one more point. Who had another good suggestion? 8. Put in an 8 here. That makes that log base 2 of 4, which is 2. And then you put a negative on it, makes it -2. over 8, down 2. Wait a minute, what was that? 5, 6, yeah. All right, that doesn't feel right. Am I doing something wrong? Probably just my picture isn't perfect. Okay, all right. Then this must be going like that. And then do you kind of feel where the asymptote should be? Well, at a minimum, you should know this. Here's what a normal log looks like. That's really, really important. And it's amazing. I got to practice this more because when they say that people come to calculus and they have forgotten, like, what's the log graph look like? They're just like, oh, I don't remember. We gotta put that on a different version of the top 20 or something because a lot of people don't remember the base graphs. Okay, so anyway, that's the log graph. If that's generally what the log graph looks like, then the asymptote must be here. And so then the asymptote must have got moved over. Oh yeah, if you look at this original question, you can see it was moved over -4 at the end there. So it must be 4 to the right. So that's where the asymptote is, at 4 to the right. I wish that would have just moved as a whole line, but there we go. Okay. So what do you need? You need the asymptote and 3 points. Do I have 3 points? Do I have the asymptote? Then I'm good. Okay. There's a lot more to this test than just what we've practiced so far. Tomorrow we're going to do more practice problems and I'll have less distraction because today I wanted to hand back those tests for you to be able to look at, do corrections on. One more thought. Tomorrow is a Thursday, kind of a weird week this week. So if you want to come in for extra help, tomorrow is one of those days. So if you had a lot of questions on your tests, like, oh, I don't know how to fix this, come in the morning, get some help. Because if you don't do corrections, then you can't count Friday's test as a retake. That's a pretty low bar. You just got to get your corrections done, okay? But if you don't, they won't count. And by the way, just writing down the right answer by talking to the smart kid, that doesn't work. You have to show me work. Just written answers written on the correction down for the corrections isn't good enough. Okay, so that's all the review that I want to do with you for today. Let me just tell you what I want to assign you. So look at the bottom of the worksheet for today. If you haven't already found it, it is called Cumulative 2 Review, Part 1. I know it's got a 2 in it, but that's because this is the second cumulative of the semester. So anyway, the worksheet called Part 1, and this is the very end of it. I'm assigning the evens, except there's a few tweaks. Like, there's a couple odd questions that I really can't afford to have you skip. So look at number 7. I'd like you to do parts B, C, E, and F, those 4. You can skip 7A, and let's see what's behind here, 7D. All right, got those? And there's some more that you need to do. Up in number 6, I felt like it was just a little bit too long, so I'm going to let you skip this one. D as in dolphin. You can skip that one. 6D as in dolphin can be skipped, even though it's an even one. Okay. Number 4 was a good one, and there's usually word problems in these cumulatives, so I would encourage you to do number 4. Then on number 3, we weren't doing any of those. That feels like a bad idea. You should practice some of these. So you may continue to skip those, but I'd like you to do parts D, E, and F. And if they really cause you trouble, that means you're really probably bad at them, and you should practice them even more. All right, so there's the additions to do the evens, except you should do these a few of these odds that I just showed you, like 3, D, E, and F are now assigned. All right, so then beware, it's new semester. I'd like to get some homework in the grade book, so I'll be grading homework. Not promising it'll be tomorrow, but tomorrow is a pretty light day, so it'd probably be a pretty good day to grade some homework. So get your homework done. Very likely could be put in tomorrow. Okay, so what about corrections in the other test? Well, if you look in your grade book and you go, dang, that other test was the one that I did badly on, and I haven't done corrections yet, then you should come in the morning. Tomorrow morning would work. You can come after school, but it has to be brief, especially tonight. We've got that wake I'd like to go to, so I don't want to hang around school very long right after. So if you want to come after school today, I'll be here, but not for very long. Otherwise, tomorrow night after school, you could come and I could stay a little bit longer. All right. So that's when you can do corrections. I strongly recommend it because then Friday's test could be a retake. If you just got a C, do you get how important tomorrow or Friday's test is? Because you could change that C to an A, and Friday's test counts separately. That's like 2 tests could radically change your grade in this class. Do well on that test on Friday, and then use it as a retake of an old test. Some of you that have had like a sucky run here and like, oh crap, I got C's on my last 2 math tests. You could change 3 tests to an A. This test has a lot of punch. It'll make a big difference in your grade if you let it. But you can screw that up by not doing your corrections because then it won't count. It'll still count as a test, but it won't count as a retake. Okay? Or not studying for this test because you're like, oh, it's a review test. That'll be easy. Not if you didn't do well the first time. All right. So I strongly recommend some heavy studying this week because this test on Friday could make a big difference in your grade. That's why we're making it Friday. Otherwise, it'd been a really easy case to make that, hey, we've done a review day. We'll take the test on Thursday. And some of you were even here on Monday, or Tuesday, sorry. So we could have easily made the argument to give you the test on Thursday. We're giving you a whole extra day because this test can count a lot. All right. So that's enough of the encouragement to do your homework and study because, hey, it's your grade. I just really feel bad for some people that look back and go, dang it, I could have got so much better grade in that class if I'd just put in a little bit of effort. Because you got this retake policy that's really generous. I strongly recommend that you take advantage of it and learn this stuff really well. The other thing is, this stuff is in next year. This stuff that we're learning right now, if you don't get it down, it's going to hurt you again next year because it's in pre-calc. And then it's the year after that, it's in calculus. And then logs are on the ACT test. So, you need the stuff. Okay, enough of that. Have a great day.